All right, welcome to this week's edition of Wall Bangin' Paint Schemes, where every week I go through all the paint schemes from the Craftsman Trucks, O'Reilly Series, and the NASCAR Cup Series, and I talk about a couple of the paint schemes that I personally really like. This weekend for the Cup Series, it's the Auto Trader 400. Let's go through all the paint schemes for each three series, and I'm going to pick out some of my favorites. I'm really digging this number 91 from Christian Eckes, this Napa Night Vision Chevrolet Silverado. I'm a big fan of this. I think it's a really nice looking paint scheme. I always like the yellow numbers personally. I always enjoy the yellow numbers. I'm pretty sure Lane Riggs drove this scheme last year, something very similar to it with this brand Brawl bare knuckle boxing. I love it. It's not necessarily a like the greatest paint scheme I've ever seen, but it definitely stands out and it's really good for brand awareness, I guess you could say. The fist behind the number. I think this one here is a knockout. All right, this Justin Haley scheme is hot. This is a hot scheme right here. The yellow number, all black. It's like a matte. It looks like it'd probably be like a matte black on track. If it's a matte black, oh, this is real nice. Honestly, not a lot of amazing schemes this week. Moving on to the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. Kyle Sieg has this big house paint scheme here. I think it's pretty nice. This big house construction paint scheme. I always like the black and yellow. Being a Steelers fan, I always like that combination. And overall, it looks nice. It's a nice looking scheme. Nothing special though. This Jeb Burton scheme right here, pretty great for brand recognition. Has the person with the sprayway in their hand, spraying the number, cleaning the number, if you will. I don't honestly, I don't really like the scheme. I don't think it's that great of a paint scheme, but it's great for brand recognition and brand awareness. I think it's really great for that. But overall, not a great looking scheme, I would say. I like this black, red, and gray first auto group paint scheme from Gio Ruggiero. I like it. Yeah, it's nothing crazy. It's cool. I like it. All right, this Jesse Love Sam Sarah Chevrolet. I hope I'm pronouncing that brand correctly. Sam Sarah. I don't really like it. I don't like it. I don't. I really don't like it. It looks like they took three paint schemes and just mashed them together on the side of this thing. It doesn't. It looks bad. Looks bad. Now this might be all the brand recognition, all the brand awareness you could get in a car with this Carson Quaffle Arby's Chevrolet. Got an Arby's sandwich on the side. Got my favorite thing from Arby's, the curly fries on the side. We have the meats. And it's not a half bad looking paint scheme either. It looks pretty decent. It looks better than the Jesse Love one for sure. I like it. I like it. Anytime I see this scheme, I got to stop for it. Sheldon Creed. I think it's the same scheme as last year, at least very similar to the Road Ranger scheme that he had last year with Haas. But now, obviously, being a Chevrolet might be a little bit different, but it looks at least very similar to the one that he had last season. I'm very curious on how this number 0 is going to look on track because it looks like it could be a great paint scheme, but it looks a little dark almost too. It looks almost like dim. If yeah, it looks weird, but it looks like it could be a badass paint scheme, just depending on how it looks in person. Because sometimes these schemes look so much better in person, and sometimes they look so much better in the little graphics that they have here. Like when they had the Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick throwback that he's driven for Bass Pro Shops, the one that he's driven over the last couple of weeks. I personally didn't like the graphic of that paint scheme, but then when I actually saw it on track, I'm like, all right, that's a badass paint scheme. But when I saw the pictures of it, I'm like, I didn't like it. And I'm curious about this one because it has looks like pink lightning bolts on the side. It has a a gold number. I'm curious if that's reflective or not. I'm not sure. It has an interesting, like, cotton candy almost color scheme. I don't know how this is going to look in person. I guess we'll have to see. All right, let's move on to the NASCAR Cup Series. And Shane Van Gisbergen is going to have his first race with Red Bull of the year. It's the same paint scheme that Connor Zilisch was driving last week, except instead of the blue accent going up against the number, it's red. And I don't know which I like more. I wouldn't put one above the other. I like them both. I think they both look good. It's a Red Bull paint schemes are always going to look good. They just are. The color scheme and the brand recognition, you don't really have to do too much. It's going to look good no matter what. I definitely prefer the old Tootsie schemes that we've had. I've liked a lot of the Tootsie schemes that we've had. This one, it's very basic. It's literally just a pink car with numbers thrown onto it. Panama City Beach Tootsies. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of this paint scheme. I wouldn't say I hate it. I definitely don't hate it. But with the other Tootsie schemes that we've had, I thought those were a lot better. And this one's just, it looks like there's no effort really put into this. It's just pink. I like the pink black number though. I think that's cool. I can get down with the way the number looks, but everything else, I'm not a big fan of it. Looks like Reddick's going to be bringing back the Pinnacle paint scheme. Looks like the same paint scheme he raced last year. But overall, I like this paint scheme. It's overall pretty basic. It's a pretty basic paint scheme, but it's good. I think my big problem with it is like the whole door is open. There's no sponsors anywhere there. Not necessarily the greatest for brand recognition or awareness, I would say, but it's a nice scheme. It's nothing crazy. Here we got Rowdy driving the new Cheddar scheme for this year. And it's very similar to some of the schemes that we've already had when it comes to Cheddars. I do like the dark blue, though. I'm very curious on how this is going to look on track. The dark blue with the orange. I think it could look pretty cool. It really just depends. I don't know how like I said, I don't know how it's going to look on the track, but I like this. Looks like we have a new buildsubmarines.com Ford, a little bit different of a paint scheme. I like that it's like all black. I think that's pretty cool with it fading a little bit into like more of like a lighter black, like gray almost. Kind of like there's a certain color for it. I can't think of the name of the color for it. Charcoal? Would that be a charcoal black? Let me know in the comments on what this black is called. But it's not quite gray. But the way it fades and everything, I'm a big fan of it. I think this is a nice looking paint scheme. I think it looks better with the black. I'm curious on how it looks on track, but I'm always down for like an old black sort of scheme. It always pops a little better. Very rare here. Very rare territory. Kyle Larson driving a non-HendrickCars.com Chevrolet, driving a Valvoline Chevrolet. We've seen him drive a Valvoline Chevrolet a couple of times. I love this paint scheme. I think this is a fantastic paint scheme. It's great with the brand recognition and awareness. I would say you have the Valvoline can on the side. They're using up as much space as possible for sponsorship. The colors are cool. I usually wouldn't like a red number, but I like the way this red number kind of pops on the blue. I'm a big fan of this paint scheme, and it's always nice for the Kyle Larson Chevrolet to get a little bit of a change every once in a while. I'm one of those people that likes when they keep the same scheme every week, but I do like there to be at least a handful of races where they change it up. Like I would always like when they would bring out the 4th of July paint schemes and stuff like that. That's what this is kind of giving me a feel of one of those. This is a nice scheme. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. The Morgan & Morgan Chevrolet by Austin Dillon, AD. Once again, black and yellow. I always like black and yellow. I like the map right there. I like this scheme a lot. I feel like they're potentially... It might not look as good on track as it does in the pictures. I think this is one of those where it potentially will look bad on track because it seems like there is a decent amount going on, but they're using up all the sponsorship space. It's a good color combo. I like the little yellow accent around the number 3. I think that could be a tip-top paint scheme, but it could also be one of those few paint schemes where it looks a lot better in the graphics than it does on track. And the final scheme we're going to look at here for today might be the best one of the bunch. I'd say probably is, and that's Ross the Boss Chastain driving this Wendy's Chevrolet. This is a fantastic paint scheme. This is a great paint scheme. You have the iconic Wendy's hair coming across the side, great brand recognition. Got the Busch Light logo there. You got Wendy, and looks like to be like an old fashioned like racer's helmet with the goggles. It looks like on the side of this thing. The blue number, the checkered flag, red, white, and blue for Wendy's. I love this. This is probably my favorite paint scheme of the whole week, and it's the last one that we're looking at. I love this paint scheme. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. What was your favorite paint scheme that we looked at today for Wall Bangin' Paint Schemes Atlanta edition? Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. Mine has to be the Ross Chastain Wendy's Chevrolet. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And for now, I'm Trackside Larry saying peace.